Good morning, everyone. It is Velvet on Silver, and one of my passions that I have in life is to connect with people and to share their stories. So I am going to bring on my guest, Angela Groeneveld. Here she is here. And her new methodology that she is going to be introducing.
Hello.
And there she is. Good morning.
Good morning. Like my new readers.
I love the color.
You gotta shine, right, Velvet? You gotta shine.
That's right. You do have to shine. So welcome. And why don't you share a little bit about yourself with everybody before we get going?
Many hats. So I almost an adult, 17, and I am also have experienced the highs and lows of unwinding of a marriage and keeping a business together, and also raising three children in there and staying as a family unit, staying as business partners, and that's really enhanced me on learning a whole bunch of more tools too, and then it's added to my professional career as well. So I started off at Olds College. That's where I met my ex-husband, but that's where I met him. And I went off to be a fashion designer. And I share this story because it'll tie into what I'm going to speak about. And I wanted to be, I've been a cowgirl my whole life, and I wanted to be a fashion designer designing Western clothes. And I lasted about 4 months sitting behind a sewing machine, sitting still. And I realized I just want to create and then sell. This is key, what I just said. I realized what I talk about later. And I changed my path, and I went into business at that time. And I came out of business school. I opened up a day spa in High River. It was my first business, and I opened up many businesses after that, and I would open them up and sell them. That's kind of what I did for a while. And then when the 2013 floods happened, I was working with the federal government as a business coach at that time, and I was asked to be the business recovery officer for Southern Alberta in the High River area there, and that was about 6 years, and that led me into economic development. And I had a mentor that believed in me at that time and said, to be a better business coach, you need to invest in some personal coaching for yourself. Because it was when you are serving people, it's exhausting. It wasn't the business that we were healing. It was the person, which is another key to where I am right now, what I'm going to talk about. And so then I got my personal coaching. And I continued down that path, and I continued doing contracting, but at that time is when I opened up a merge agency. And I do consulting in economic development. I do consulting with government. I do consulting with coaching, business and personal. And my favorite part is sharing my methodology of fear to faith on the fly. This is the book that I'm writing, and it has been in works for about 10 years. Because life just keeps handing you hurdles. But the workbook is going to print real fast here, and your guests, you will be getting it, free copies right away. I'll share why I wasn't able to speak at your Shine event, but today I want to talk about fear to faith on the fly, because I just gave you a whole mouthful of what I do and what I continue to do. And this methodology is what keeps me successful, keeps me happy, keeps me shining, it keeps me going. And I believe it's a message from my higher spirit that I'm to pay forward. So thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, you are so welcome. And, I just want to say to everybody who is watching that, I have the annual Shine event, and unfortunately, Angela wasn't able to make it. She was sick, and so here we are. She's going to be sharing this with everybody who is watching, and also everybody will get an email with this video who attended the Shine event. So let's talk a little bit about writing your book. What was that process like?
And fear. You go through many waves when you want to share a story. So I didn't know I was supposed to write a book. This methodology came to me. I've shared this story lots in interviews. Is when I was on the fetal position on the floor, 4 a.m, and I did not know what I couldn't see straight, think straight. It was heavy. And all of a sudden this message came to me and I didn't know what to do with it. Years later, I realized what I'm supposed to do with it, and it's never stopped once I've connected with it. In those years is when I would start to just share the story with a friend, with family, and say, oh, this is what kind of helps me out. This is what I don't even really know if I believe in God. And my definition of faith is not organized religion. So I'll explain that in a little bit. But so when you realize, when people react to it and you see results, you think, okay, I got to go to a higher platform here. And that's when you decide to write a book. When you decide to write a book is when you go, uh-oh, it's going to be real in writing, and people are going to question, judge, comment, talk about vulnerability. And that's what made it stall. So I share that I have been going through that up and down of having the courage to write the book. And then, but I believe in my methodology, and I believe it will be written and complete when it's supposed to, because every day I wake up, I learn a new lesson and a new chapter to put in it. So right. Don't have fear. I'm going to share a little bit about how to do that. And so the other part of when you go to write a book is the timing. And the timing is a crucial thing. If you listen within to yourself, the answer is always there. There was a reason my body got sick, that I couldn't attend your event. It was all here. Everything that was going on, the timing was not right. I wouldn't listen. I kept pushing through because I don't quit. I'd say I'm going to do something. My word is like gold. And I was there the night before, but the struggles that I was dealing with mentally, physically in my body, I was ignoring, and I couldn't ignore it anymore. All of a sudden, your higher spirit, your intuition inside, which is what you teach and what you practice, was screaming at me, and I wouldn't listen, so it came out, now I can't go. And I was really upset about that. And but I wanted to deliver, and I saw the women and I saw the venue, and I gave my word to you, and I felt like God wanted me to say that message, but the timing was not right, because what I just went through from that time to now, I had about 3 more lessons to learn to add in that book. So that same methodology there that I'm talking about will happen in a book. You will go to write, and then you'll stall, and then you'll stop. Don't fight it. Don't worry about it. Keep focused and keep aware, but it takes a long time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It does take a long time, and I love what you just shared, because it's so true. Our old patriarchal self wants to tell us that this is the timeline we need to follow. This is our commitment. But, the divine has a different, timeline, that you had to go through those things to add to your book. I mean, I've had similar experiences in writing my own books too. Like, you're like, I need to get this done. But the truth is, you're living it. And through living it and sharing it, you can authentically share that it works, because you've done it yourself. And I'll probably
talk about this actually in the book. It'll be a chapter of timing. And we attach to it. I'm going to use the word God a lot here. And it's my spiritual being. It's my spiritual belief. It's, I respect all, and it has changed. Sorry, changed it, is that even a word? It has changed a lot over the years. I share that because I always had something to believe in. And I honor everybody's. And if you don't have any, and you feel like you're a little lost right now, and you're like, well, I don't know who my God is. I don't know what I believe in. It's your soul. It's love. It's inside. So just hang on to that. Listen to that. but get more connected to yourself to find your faith system. So when I was able to release and give it to God, a lot of my worries and a lot of my fears and a lot of what I'm worried of judgment and people are thinking and all that, my Lord, did life get easy. And I will, till the day I die, I will be telling everybody, give it to your God. Give it to your spiritual being. We're only on earth. For how long, we never know. And daily I have to remind myself of this, but once you have a guidebook I call it right now, and some people will call it the Bible, and some people will call it their YouTube channels, whatever they read and do. Once you give it to your belief system, and you can just let go and smile and live. You got to keep working. You got to keep moving, and you got to keep the tools that are given to you. But you don't have to attach to the emotion of the stress of it. It will kill you. You and I have experienced that. We know it'll take us.
Yes, absolutely it will. We have to, you're right. Like you were saying, you have to listen to the body and honor what your body is telling you, because if you don't, you are going to be frozen to take care of yourself, whether you can't push through sometimes. So listening is key.
That's why I talk about suicide a lot. And people, I've had one very serious attempt where I almost died. And then I've had two that I've caught myself in my adult years where, and I'm now okay to talk about this, where I know I needed to go get help. And there's no level scoring of the one where she almost died. That one's more real than the other one. No, like, even if you're thinking of it, they're all 10 out of 10s. And we will fake being okay. So when you ask someone, are you doing okay? We'll always fake it. But it's something that we have to own. But the truth is, for me, that's when those lows come in, and when that is hit, is because I'm not connected to what my inner self, my faith system, is trying to tell me. And I need to shed out of the situation, out of the mindset. There is something that is draining me. And with my immune system, it's low. I have to take medicine for it, etc. So I will go chemically low fast. And that's why I used to battle of taking antidepressants. You don't need them. It's fine. Toughen up. You can get through it. But there is a holistic, a faith, and a chemical way to look after your body. And I trust whatever you think is right. But for me, I balance it. And it got way better once I had a faith system to believe in. Once I started listening to my intuition self, my body started to get healthier. People see me now and say, holy, you look 10 years younger. Why are you so fit? Or why you look great, Angela. And there's no magic. I just started loving myself and living for myself and doing what made me so live and be happy and take the tools and the steps and the grind and wanting it. I kept going towards that better life. But I believe I will bring the low chemical, the low immune system back by nutrients, exercise, endorphin, all around, surround yourself around good people. Maybe I'll cut a little bit of that wine out. I do like my wine. It's trouble.
Right?
Yeah.
Not a bad thing.
So I have so much to share, and it's your audience. This is your gift of because I never was able to show up that day. If you would like, I can move into what Fear to Faith on the Fly is. And hopefully, like, my goal, Velvet, is anytime that I knew this was going to happen. Sorry. Is it okay? Can you still see me? Anytime that I can have an opportunity to pay forward, and if it reflects on even one person, that's all that matters to me. The world is very caught up in social media right now of likes and data analytics. And I'm a business coach. I teach it, and I'll share and connect them to the right media people to make sure that they get it. But if you really believe in your product and your service and your message, don't worry about the judgment of attaching to the likes and how many. It's about quality and not quantity. Quantity will get you the business sales, But if you don't have the quality of what you're trying to sell, of whatever it is, which is in your faith system, is why you're chosen to be an entrepreneur, why you're choosing to do what you do, it won't matter and it won't sell. It's not supposed to. So I had to change that mindset because I really wanted a lot of followers and I wanted to get going before I released the book. And it's a joke. Once I got real about it and realized, because all of a sudden I'll have a conversation with one person about it and it'll come tenfold a year later because the message was so important. That's more important to me. I'm serving on earth. I'm delivering it. I'm as a citizen and as a human, I'm making this place a better place. Maybe I only have 15 followers, but 10 of them are alive and happy. Yeah, so
that's right.
Yeah,
that's
and
right.
I share that because of my professional disaster recovery. When you see a community fall apart and a flood comes in or a fire comes in, it completely wipes out a community and a person loses their home and their business, it takes a toll on them mentally, not during the recovery, not during the emergency phase, not only during the recovery, but for years after. That will stay with them. I call it 3 phases to it. And I was speaking last year to BC when those floods were coming in, and I couldn't believe the response I got a year later from people thanking me of just hearing my voice and sharing the stories of High River people that they were getting through, gave them hope. And one lady was like saying, at the middle of the night, I was listening, and she was suicidal. She was mentally not. So I share that because any of you entrepreneurs out there, or any of you that have a passion in you that you want to share and you don't think it's good enough and you don't think people want to buy it, don't worry about it. Keep listening to your faith system, listen to your heart, move it out there, get it going. That's why I love politicians too, is because they get scrutinized like nothing, but they're just trying. They're humans. But I don't know where, like, I love that we have a country that we have freedom of speech and we can speak on, but I wish everyone would check in on their faith system before they make comments, to be just a little kinder. Remember, that's a human on the other way. Because I've seen some. Right. So we're all trying. We're all, love always wins, right? That's what I want everybody to. Okay, so what do you want me to do?
Okay, I do. I want you just to go into the system and let's begin. Let's see what it's all about.
Fear to faith on to fly was the message that came. And I was raised as nature was my church and God was the higher spirit. Game warden's daughter. And so we spent more time of our life outdoors than we did indoors. And there were some stories of organized religion that my father had shared with us that had made us probably not be supportive, or a little fear of joining any type of organized religion. So I was really confused, but I understood energy from trees. I understood energy from roots, ground. I didn't see energy, but I could feel it in the world. And you're trying to figure out, how does this world work? How do we, as a kid growing up? And as the years went on, I challenged, like I would get exposed to Buddhism, like just all different times of faith systems, things to believe in. And where I landed, what the message was to me was all of the common denominator of any type of organized religion, somewhere, somehow you can find the word love in it. And somewhere you can, it's like everyone's written a different story about it to attach to their organized religion. And I respect that, whatever they need to do. But it all comes down to love. It all comes down to kindness. And it all comes being a better citizen on earth and contributing. So serving. So the faith system, whatever makes you tick, whatever your spiritual is that brings you joy and happiness. That's what if you don't have a faith system right now, just pause. You can play with stuff. You can look at different ones, go to different churches, talk to different people about things. But when I'm doing coaching with people and I'll ask them, what do you believe in? What brings you joy? Where's your love? And is there a place that you go that fills you up? Sometimes it's churches. Sometimes, right? Sometimes it's girlfriends on Thursday nights, wine nights. Sometimes it's just chatting or
right.
something you read. So the fear part of that's the faith system that I want to make clear. The fear part of this is our heads. I have been going through life scared, and it's like a black circle in here that's really noisy, and all these noises come in all the time. And I was reactive without a faith system. What do you need? Please like me. How can I get accepted there? How can I get this job? How can that be my friend? How can I get that boyfriend? How can I make more money? Noise, noise, noise. Never would I sit back and go, what does Angie need? What brings me joy? What brings me? I didn't have that guidebook to guide me how to make healthy choices for myself. So I'm running fear all the time. Ego. This is all ego. And ego will bring in greed. So, and ego will bring in dark, like demons, darkness, like all this stuff in your head. This is when we get overwhelmed. And the faith system, you have to grab something to believe in. Here's a visual of it. Do you remember, if you are a parent, or if you, of course you were a child, but I don't know if you got to experience this as a child. If anybody listening can remember or see a picture, Google this on Google Images, where you would throw the kid in the air and the father has the hands up and you catch that kid. My ex-husband, Jay, he used to do this all the time with the kids. And that joy in those children's face of like, Dad, throw me in the air, throw me in the air. It was complete trust. They would get thrown into the air with no fear. And because they knew they were going to land in safe hands of their parent. So that is faith right there. Love and trust right there. That's what I want you to find. When you find that faith system where you have that extreme joy and trust, where you just know, that's what you want to hang on to. If you find an organization that attaches to that and gives you that feeling, that might be your path. And it might only be for a little while, but at least you'll have a guidance or a handbook or something to help you when you're dealing with the fear. When the fear comes in, when the ego comes in and the noise comes in your head, and you're not listening to your intuition and you do not have the faith system, your body will start to get sick. You'll probably have a few more lessons to learn because you'll make some bad choices, or maybe there were choices to get the lessons learned. I'm not even going to judge them, but you will live in a uncompleted, peaceful life because you're reacting instead of living. You're just reacting on acceptance, reacting on trying to defeat the ego and defeat, you're feeding it. Give it to the faith system. Once you find that, and if you don't have one right now, just go back in and say, what do I need? Where's my love? Then you'll fly. And I promise you, this has helped in every business situation, consulting situation, work environment. When we go back, when you get action and get results is when you don't work from a place from fear. You work from a place of peace, confidence, and love. Then is when you get actions. Then is when you fly. There is not, if you listen to motivational people right now and you look at Instagram people right now that just send messages out to make you positive, like I'm addicted to these things that just give me lots of energy on Instagram. Look at the common denominator of everything, what it's saying. Love, believe in yourself, keep going, grinding, all that type of stuff. The bottom line is it's telling you to believe in you, telling you to believe. There's nothing that says, make sure that you listen to everybody, one of your followers, and make sure you're answering to them and make sure you're delivering to them. And if you need to change your business model or the way that you parent or the way that you have a loving relationship based on what your that noise is telling, never once is any of that out there. That's how I lived. That's like a long time. So that's what I want to pay for it. When this darkness comes in, when the deepness comes, the deepness of the depression or the lows and stuff come in, I have to fight it. I still battle it to this day. I got to get out of this mindset. I got to get out of this mindset. And I take my faith system and I armor up. I become a badass. And I have been very successful at things. And at times it's because I got to reach into that badass cowgirl and I got to pull her out. And it's usually to in a business case, in a relationship, or I'm in fear. So when you armor up with faith system, you go to, it's like a spiritual war that I'm at right now. That when the dark, when the nervousness, when anything comes in that challenges me of changing who I am or doesn't like who I am, I armor up really fast and nothing touches me. I literally put like a barrier around me, and I almost can feel like a metal suit, like I'm going to war, and I have some visuals of it. And you can't touch me. I feel sorry for you if you're on the other side of that and you're taking me to war, because you will not win. That's how. Now, before, I used to battle it from a very angry, negative bitch mode. And I am so glad that that is gone. I'm so glad that I have lived fighting for years, tough. I thought that that's why I was so big. I thought that's what, and then I was cowgirl tough, and I was raised tough, and all this. I thought this is the way I'm supposed to live. Now I armor up with love and faith and gratitude and peace. So, but you will hear my tone. It is very strong and it's very confident, but there's not a bone of anger in it. There's not a bone of vindictiveness or ill intent or anything, but I'm going to win because I love myself and I believe that I'm here to serve, and I believe that whatever is coming towards me, my faith system and my love is going to beat. And that is why I continue to be successful at every single thing I do. And that is why every time I go, they go around people or I speak, they're like, her energy is crazy. Some like it. And some are like, get her away from me. That is way too much. Too much I've heard all my life. And I love it. That's okay. I love that they have boundaries and go, I can't be in a room with Angie. She doesn't shut up. Her energy takes over. I just don't fit. And I love that they own it, but I'm not going to change. Now, etiquette and manners, if my mom is listening, she'll say, yes, she needs to learn to change a little. And as I get older, maybe I will. But do you have any questions on what I've shared on that? Because I'm doing a lot of talking with it.
So just in my own experience, when you were talking about, going through those dark times, right? And you armor up and you have to go inside. I mean, what I can relate to that is those moments, whether it's divorce or an illness or, a big move or a breakup. That's exactly what I have learned to do myself. Is it's like you shut the external out and then you get that silence, right? So you can go inside and listen to what it is, whatever your, God source or divine source is. It's that inner stillness. Like you said, it's your soul inside, and you get to communicate with that energy, and it gives you all the answers you need. And usually the answers are, disconnect, allow yourself to have that peace, to go inside, because you're the only one who can figure it out.
Yes. Thank you for saying you're the only one that can figure it out, because a lot of us in COVID is called, in my line of work, a man-made disaster. Natural disasters are climate and man-made disaster. This man-made disaster made everybody have to be isolated, and all they had was themselves. And we are climbing out of what it was like to live with ourselves and have cut off from human, cut off from the world, cut off from routine. It caused a lot of pain and more disaster in many areas. But I also have watched some people blossom from it and grow from it because they were left alone. All they had was themselves. I wish we would have had resources available for everybody while we were going through that to say it's going to be okay. I know you're really scared right now. Where was our news? We were doing the fear. The politicians were doing the best they can, explaining why we were making the decisions we were from a life safety position. But where was the help for the mental? It was, you can call this number and you can do this. What if there was a news channel that was saying what you just said? Believe in yourself. Everything, get in tune with yourself. I don't know how to do what you do, but what I will say it is 100% needed. It's why God brought you to me that morning. And it's why I watch your work. And you could go so big and so far with it, and you're doing it in little steps and letting the success grow slow and quality. And I'm watching it. And as a business coach, I want to sit you down and say, no, we got to go like this and get going. But you are, because that's that drive in me. And if I would sit with you, and when I do my proper business coaching with you, I go, now she's got it. She's got it. She knows what she's doing. She's going, I do it to you all the time. You're like, I'm already working on it, Ange. I already got that. I'm like, okay, it's just not happening fast enough, right? And so the answer is to all of that is when we get inside. And I think that was interesting how you said, when I was talking, some things came up for you. Because I want to use that as an example to everybody to say, whatever voice came into you when you're listening to Velva and I talk right now, please write it down. And please, when you're done this, or hang up right now, this is recorded, and go listen to that, because that is your soul talking to you. That's whatever words we can use here, divine messaging, whatever coming in, that is what's saying, wake up. Those are the awareness, like this is the little things. And that's the platform that when you work with people, Velvet, you bring that out to them. You feel it. It intuitively comes into you. You feel it. I feel your presence. I feel like, oh my God, she's watching me. She's feeling me. She's reading me. Like, get out of my head, right? I know it's natural. I don't have that gift. I have the gift of asking the questions to them and making them feel positive and making them want to move forward. Once they want to move forward, they need you. If they're not connected to themselves, they need other tools in the toolbox to move them. And I want you, if you could, I know a lot of your story, but if you can share a moment of in the past when you made a decision, or when you were your deepest, darkest, where you made the wrong decision or you stayed in pain too long but what you know now, if you would have believed in yourself, you would have got out of it. Because I'm wondering if you share something, it'll help someone from our audience.
Okay. And you know what? I'm going to share this part because I've heard it a lot from people that I've seen lately. So for myself, I was in a marriage for 21 years. And, I was married to a rancher, and we had 3 girls, and I was not happy. I was not happy at all. I was doing my own work. I'd wrote a book at that point and had my own system. And I was afraid to leave. I did not know where I would go. I did not know how my life would look in the future. And so I was frozen in fear for actually quite a few years. And at that point, I would say that things soothed me, like wine nights, more often than not, right? Because I did not know how to move through that fear. And what I realized in that, I ended up actually having a heart attack because I stayed too long. So I've heard from many of you out there that are saying, you know what, I have to drink a bottle of wine before I have sex with my husband because I don't want to be in my marriage anymore. And I just want to say to you, there's a better life than that. There is, so much more out there. So what I would say, Angie, is that, when I had my heart attack and I was in CCU and I was forced to be alone and think about what do I want to do, that's the moment that I realized, I'm not going to be here if I don't choose me. And I heard the stillness inside very clearly, that I had to take the next step. And even though I didn't know what it was, I had to trust in the faith that whatever I needed would come along and help me. And it did. So what I would say to people is, if you're in fear, take some silence, get some support around you to help you look at what your possibilities are. And don't let yourself get to the point where your body almost shuts down because you're not listening.
Yeah, that's and that's real vulnerable to share. And so if you were a client that came in and I was listening to what you just said, but you hadn't had the heart attack yet, I would know you're to have a heart attack. I wouldn't know you're going to have a heart attack. I would know you're going to get sick here, either mentally or physically, because when you don't live your authentic life, your true life that you're supposed to, or that brings you peace and happiness, it's just messy. It's just dark. When you're around people that they're exhausting, like I call them energy suckers, and I love them. I'll never judge somebody on whatever chapter they're going through in their life. It's just not natural for me. But my boundaries, I will only give so much time to being around that type of energy because it's sucking. But I pray for them, and I always will say, you need some help, or you need, and because the outcome's not good. The outcome on the other side. I love that you shared that story, because I think a lot of people fell into that during COVID. And whether it was their marriage, whether it was their children, whether it was their career, but a lot of them did temporary Band-Aids to get through it. And those temporary Band-Aids became bad habits. And then when you're not thinking straight, when you've got the temporary Band-Aids that are giving you the endorphin release, and you shouldn't need Band-Aids to have the endorphin release, whether it's alcohol, substance, shopping. I've done them all. If I decorate my house one more time, or like landscaping, or like, but when I realized it was all just noise trying to get me through, that's why my suicide attempt came. That's why your heart attacks came. I want to also point out something here with what you just said. You said the word I a lot in there. Some people will say, what a narcissist. All she does is talk about herself. And I've had it happen to myself. They'll be like, it's all about you. It's all about you. And I find it incredible, because not once did you blame. You did not play victim mode at all. So I heard it different, because I don't carry negative baggage into my mind and put it on other people. When people call people a narcissist, or people call people judgment or a label or something, they better check into themselves. I try to stay, I'm not perfect. And a lot of my family and friends and partners right now will be like, yeah, right, she's so lying right now. So I slip at times, and I get back to it as soon as I can. But, and I get back to it really fast, because I'm all love. So I heard your message as, I was not happy. You didn't say, my marriage was terrible because of this, this, and this, and this. You stepped up, you owned it, and I know you, and we can't get into the past of how the counseling and the back and forth, and you made it with us. The quick message you were saying was, I was living in a place of fear. I was not happy. I went to different substances, different things, to temporary Band-Aid, try to get the joy back. And in the end, I had a heart attack. No victim, no blame. Some people would say, oh, it's all about her. But audience that's listening, please don't worry about speaking your truth like Valva just did. Because if some people are listening to Valva right now and saying, she's a narcissist, or she talks about herself, there's something uncomfortable that you've brought in them for them to think that way. So that is what people are scared of why they won't want to live their true life, why they want to face their fear, because they're afraid of being judged. They're afraid of the labeling. I feel like you want to say something. Did that sit with you?
Yeah. No. There's my throat chakra. No, I agree with you. I think the word narcissist is overused. I think that people, when you are triggered by something that somebody says, it is absolutely the window to look inside and say, okay, I'm triggered. What is it inside of me that I need to look at? And that's the point that we're missing, right? Is be accountable, look within. Projection,
own
those
your
days
shit. I did
gone.
that. I'm so, like, this is where I'm going to get a little cowgirl with it, of that side is, and I don't know why I call it cowgirl, it's just when I go back to my grounding roots of it, is we are so easy right now to just blame and blame and blame and blame and take the easy route. And I don't know, I wasn't taught to take the easy route. I was taught to take the road that gets you there, and there's going to be switchbacks on a trail. There's going to be tough times. And the statement I was always told was, stand tall, face it, have the courage to it. Don't hide behind screens. We didn't have it back then. And I want us to get back into that in all our lives. I'm on my own now. I have to live this life on my own. and I want to spread love, and I don't want to ever blame or pay forward victim mode in any way. And the fear to faith model, what you just did, what you just shared, was you had fear of an unhappy life. You had fear of an unhappy marriage. You had fear of the way you felt about yourself as a parent, as a sister, as a brother, or as an aunt or a daughter, all of those types of things. And your head was spinning and the ego was talking, and you're living in this life, and you're trying to get through it. And then once you found your faith system, which was loving yourself and going in within yourself, and you had a little fear, you had a little taste of reality of a heart attack. When you had your body speak to you, you said, that's enough. And I don't know the past, so maybe it was a joint decision. It doesn't really matter how you got to the part that you wanted to end the relationship or end the career or end a new job, go into a new job, whatever the situation is, you own it. You have to have a conversation with the people involved with it, the people that have consequences to things, but you own it. You own your happiness. And when you own that happiness, then you fly. This is that fear to faith to fly. If you don't have that faith system that to believe in, it's a bit tough to get there. But now that I have one, I can so fast move out of negative situations, move out of fear. I almost feel a little cocky walking around. I'm in some massive situations right now. Lawyers, careers, like I'm going to be a little cocky. I got a lot going on and I'm kicking ass with it all. And not a lot of women can do what I can do, but I'm going to pay forward to them and show them how they can do it. That's my goal. Am I doing it perfect? Nope. But do I love myself and I'm smiling? You know, I'm trying to as much as I can. There are times when I hit down on it, but I show up every day trying and moving forward because of my faith system. I give my fear to God. I give my weakness. I give my dark. I give my illness. If I start to feel, I just give it to, and remember, God is whatever your spiritual belief. I just give it to them and get my head back in the game of moving forward to that end goal. That's what you did. So I'm hoping that this methodology lands with someone here and that they use your example. Is there any, you've done some big career changes too. Can you share anything that might come up of how this fear, and once you find yourself, you really flourished in a career?
So yes, very good point, because that's something else I think that's come out of COVID for many people, is that, you know, I worked as a health information manager for 15 years in the rural hospitals. And, you know, I just didn't have the passion anymore. I didn't want to get up and go to work. And, you know, I felt like it just wasn't enough for me. And I remember the moment where I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I remember my dad saying to me, well, you're going to give up your pension. You know, Dawn, do you think that's a good thing? But I knew that I didn't have that drive anymore. I was robotically moving through life. And I actually saw an intuitive, and she said to me, you're a healer. You need to start going back to school. So I did. I resigned. And I went back and took 2 years of natural health practitioner, and then took a ton of courses over a couple of years. And I wrote a book, and I started a program for women's empowerment, the Goddess Healing Matrix System. And then I wrote a book for men now, and I'm working on the retreat for men. But what I found in that, Angie, is I love what I do, and I would work all the time. And now the issue is I have to take downtime because I want to do it all of the time, and I love what I do. And I can see the shifts in people because I've experienced, and that vibration flows through the universe to them, and they're drawn to me, and I can sit with them in circle and sit down and put my arm around them when they're crying and say, I'm here, I have you.
Yes.
Because that's what the world is missing, is that. So I am grateful. My passion is ignited in all areas of my life, and I was frozen once again. I stayed in that job way too long, and I was burning out, and I wasn't happy, and it was affecting my family. So I had to have the courage to resign and go back to
Yeah,
school and start
thanks. And
something that I loved.
there was something, I don't even know where you're going to go with it, but it was coming to me that, I wanted the different audience, I wanted to share different topics, right? Of to see if one of them will resonate with them. And this is my favorite thing about coaching, because it's just all based on questions. And then you just, like, consultants are hired to tell you things and give you answers, not coaches. Coaches are there to guide you and to support you. We're coaching you. And so usually I just do it through questions, ask a lot of questions of it. And that I felt like I got to get Velva sharing some of her stories, because it's going to change. I'm going to use it's going to change someone's mindset that's stuck right now. I'm going to use a statement from Oprah that when you were talking, I was like, there it is right there. When you do what you love, it's not work. It's just, so you get up every day and I have to go to work? Never. It's like I get up, I'm getting up today to live. And so that fear to faith to fly, when you are in fly mode, you're getting up every day to live, because you don't live in fear anymore. You're doing what you want because you believe in yourself. And then if you have a faith system to lean on to help you believe in it, you're flying all the time. Now you're going to have switchbacks and you're going to have walls and you're going to have things that hit, but you're just going to get through it because you're so passionate and you love it, and you pivot, you diversify. When COVID hit and everyone's doing their jobs that they love, I called it co-innovate as a speaking I was doing for Business Link on encouraging entrepreneurs, because, well, now it's like, quit feeling sorry for yourself and make a decision right now. I called it a business pulse check and, human pulse check. How you doing? Because the mental health that it was doing on entrepreneurs at that time as business owners, they had government restrictions come in and completely wipe out what they were going to do tomorrow from a place of love and passion. So they're like, yeah, Angie, that's all great. You can say, oh, stay passionate and do what you love. But when a disaster comes in, man, COVID, and wipes it out, they were frozen. They were stuck. And same as the language that you were using. And if they were healthy enough, and if they could keep going, and if the passion was there, and we could find a path, I knew they would, and go to their faith system, I knew they would fly, and I knew they would find a way. But we had to get their mindset to change and co-innovate. And when you talked about, I did this, and then I did this, and then I went here, and I went here, the path wasn't like this. I'm going to quit my job, and I'm going to go, and I'm going to do this, and bam, this is what I'm going to be, like that. We have to make sure we're healthy enough to be able to do all this. That is why I will tell, I wouldn't wish divorce on my worst enemy. I hate all of it, and all of it. Do everything you can to make your marriage work. And if it can't, you're going to go through this. So take care of yourself while you go through this to get to the end result of that better life. Don't be afraid of it. Just realize it. If you're going to change business, you're going to change careers, anything you're going to do, it's not going to be easy. That's why I use them. I hike every day that I can. I hit a mountain anytime I can, because it's a reflection of life to me. When I hit the trail, I know the end result. I know where I want to go, but I need a return on joy to fill my bucket all the time. And I have to achieve something to go, I did it, and I get it off of a trail because I make the summit. And I have fun trying to, where the trails are going to go and what it's going to do. And I'm thinking the whole time of, I can get through this, whatever I'm going through in life, and I get to it. And I want to share that visual because I want people to get outside. I want people to get moving. I really believe in nature. I really believe in energy. I'm not a scientist. I worry about all this technical stuff and everything around. So I always feel like the higher the mountain, the closer to God. But it's the journey. It's the journey on the trail. It's the journey that you're going through of all of the success that you're achieving. If we were to have a very, very rich person say, you call yourself successful? I just looked at your bank account and I just looked at your cash flow and your balance sheet. You're not successful. That's what some people will do. But look at your energy, your smile, your beauty, your joy that you have. That's success. We've got to stop the measuring stick of dollar signs and likes on social media and stuff. When you get away from all of this tangible noise all this ego, greed, and all that stuff, get in the mountains, get on the trail, get around animals. They have no egos. Like, this is where that country lifestyle comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get grounded. You help do it through your healing and through your touch. Like, can you walk me through what actually happens when you ground someone with the Reiki when you're working with them?
So yeah, what happens is, you're just visualizing that white light coming in through your crown, right? Which is your divine connection. And then it flows through the chakra systems, which are wheels of light. And then it goes, excuse me, out the soles of your feet, like tree roots into the earth. So it's like that energy flows through you. Your body is the vessel. So it's supported by that light and that vibration. So it's going to increase, any dissonance that you've encountered from negative things, negative thoughts, and it's going to allow a discharge of that energy out your feet into the earth. And that's what I see working with energy medicine, is that if we don't have a place to release our negative thoughts and our energy, it just swirls around and around, like you said.
It swirls. So please listen to what she's saying, because we've got a coach and we got a healer here. And I'm telling you, get out of your head. You can't make business decisions. You can't make good personal decisions. You can't live your best life when this noise and this fear is going on, this ego. So I'm saying you find tools, find some type of tools in your toolbox. Mine is, the faith system. Get rid of that, get clear, believe in yourself, get in love, and then go fly. You can replace. So maybe some people's health or faith systems are the healing. Go to the Reiki, go to the Buddhism. If you can't afford Reiki, if you can't afford to go to someone like you, and like if we have a disability person right now, or someone who's dealing with a little bit of mental health and the anxiety to go out. COVID caused a lot of social anxiety, and I would love if you and I would speak someday on that, because I am the most outgoing extrovert thing, and I cannot believe how much I suffered social anxiety. This is the first time I've publicly admitted it. But people in my life have had to handle me because of they can't believe it. We're right, like, can't do it, just freeze right up, right? And the body's sick. So is there anything that you can share that we could do to ourselves, like just with ourselves, like holding our hearts or anything like that, to help move us through the fear spot and the ego in the dark?
It would be to fill yourself up first, right? So it's like you had said to me, find that spot, whether it's on a mountain, whether it's on a beach, whether it's, in a salt cave. Find a spot that fills you up, and then just sit in stillness. And I visualize breathing in white light, and I just fill up my whole body with that white light, and then I expand it out. So even when I go out and about throughout my day, like you're talking about social anxiety, I do that so that that light is sort of my filter, and it protects me from the inside out. And it allows, right? Yeah. Inside out. So it just flows with me as I move through life, keeping my vibration high. And I can tell when it plummets because I feel tired, I feel fatigued. I close up, like you were saying, fetal position on the floor, been there before, right? And so I've learned these things to expand from the inside out. So that's how I move through fear, is my breath. It's my breath and bringing in the visualization of a place that brings me peace. I also load myself up with crystals in my bra, everywhere. I do crazy things like that, and I spend a lot of time in nature.
I'm going to give a shout out to Jody Seeley. She's just been someone that I've, over the years, because of the floods in High River, that I've got to watch grow as a human, as personally and career-wise. And one day she calls me, texts me right out of the blue, and she says, "How are you doing today?" And I said, "Well, not good. Not a good day." And she said, she sends me a voice recording. And she said, "I'm sending you prayers right now. I'm sending you breath work. Just do this. That breath work and that having someone guide me right now was the kindest gift I'd received in like a long time, because it just calmed me. And I'm sharing that because if we don't have the Jody Seelys in our life, if we don't have the friends that have those things, go on YouTube, go on the Calm apps, anything you can do to fill yourself back up, as you say. So get back to loving yourself and get there. Then you can move past whatever the fear and the noise is. We have to stop living here. And I know we're coming up to an hour here. I want to close, maybe wrap it up. But what I really believe that my message is, my purpose is to pay forward to people that life is good. God is greater. Please don't live with the faith, without faith somewhere, whether it's within you, some type of divine source speaking to you, some type of higher power, some type of something to believe in. And I promise you that it will get you through whatever your situation is. Nothing is forever. I could share so many things of that I am so proud that I've gotten through. And it doesn't matter. Just please trust me. Just please know that if you don't live from a place from fear, that you will be successful. You will be happy. We are here as healers. We are here with services to try to help you to get to that place closer. That is why I'll be sharing the workbook of Fear to Faith on to Fly, because I'm going to make it real easy for you to diarize, real easy for you to just write out and get yourself reconnected. I believe in art. I believe in creativity. So maybe it's drawing pictures. Maybe it's listening to music to pull you out of it, or maybe it's nature. Whatever it is, please find something to believe in. And I promise you, you will fly from that. Love will always win. In your darkest moments, when your fear is the most heavy, pay forward. If you can't get love in, send somebody a message. Find something and give love somewhere, somehow. Just give. And all of a sudden an endorphin release, well, I promise you, will come from that. When you give to others, or when you just give in any way, even a compliment, it doesn't have to be tangible. You will feel better. It's one step out of the dark into the positive. One step, one at a time. 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day at a time. You can get out of this. And now as we're all healing and climbing out of COVID, that's the message I feel very strongly now, why I'm going to get moving forward with it. I do it with communities right now. I'm back in economic development, and these communities that are stuck and they feel like, I'm trying to get them to remember, get out of the fear of all the negative of everything that is, as counselors, as community people, as non-for-profits, stay focused on the goal. Stay focused on where you want to go. Remember why you're here. Let's all believe as a community and work together. It's the same thing. It's the Fear to Faith on to Fly. Trust your instincts. Mm-hmm. They are the messengers. When you have an intuition come in, I wish that I would have listened to my intuition and trusted it years ago. I'm literally talking when I was 6 years old, I can start to remember little voice, little things coming in. I recently had an experience at Christmas time with a client that was saying, I've been listening to this voice all my life, and I'm afraid to go there. I'm afraid to do it. And now I'm a single mom. Now I'm scared. And I said, go back to that voice. Go back. The intuition was there. So trust your instincts. That is your faith system. That's the soul. That's your soul talking to you. So start there. I'm so passionate about this stuff. I'm going to shut up because I can keep going and going and going.
But it's a good thing. It's a really good thing. And I really appreciate you doing this, because I feel in the work I'm doing right now, I see it's very much needed. Mental health, and people are struggling, they're searching, they're waking up. So where can people find your book that's going to be published
Fear to
soon?
Faith
Where can they
to
contact
Fly
you?
Instagram right now is 50, like the tag that's on here. My social media all got hacked. My everything got, so everybody please be careful. My entire business of Emerge Agency is completely shut down for a month now because somebody hacked all my social media. That's how vulnerable we are to I can't get Facebook to realize it's me. I can't get trying to do so. Unfortunately, the only way is through Instagram right now is to contact me. I am having meetings this afternoon to get everything going back up again. The Fear to Faith, the Merge Agency, those are the words to hang on to. But if anybody right here, just even message me on the Groeneveld 3 or reach out to Velva. But there will be media blasts coming on the workbook out. So and I'll share all that on the Fear to Faith Fly. The Merge Agency website is up. That's on there. You can get a hold of me on there as well. So the book will be posted on there. Emerging yourself forward. That's why it's called the Merge Agency. Emerging your community forward. Emerging business plans forward. Your business. That's what it's all about. The title, but it's the Fear to Faith on the Fly model behind it all. And yeah, please take the social anxiety serious. Listen to my passion. See what I am. And I couldn't go to a speaking for Valva. This is how real this is. I fought it. I fought all this instead of listening and giving in, and I would have not got physically sick, and I would have been able to go. And it took me I had to hit a mountain as soon as I could to forgive myself and to get myself grounded again. But that's how serious this recovery of COVID is on everybody mentally right now. Give yourselves a break. Love yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a beautiful message. So thank you for taking the time to do this. And for everybody who's listening, you know, Angela has a really powerful message, and I know many of you are probably going to relate to it. So be sure to reach out and connect.
Thank you, Velva. Keep doing your work. I'm proud of you that you've had the courage for yourself to do everything you've done. But because of that, you are now a trailblazer woman. You are changing people's lives. You are healing people. So thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to also join on these journeys of helping people, but keep doing what you're doing. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. And the feeling is mutual. This is needed, what you're doing, and I'm beside you all the way.
Well, we'll figure out how to say bye because I'm not very technical.
I know. All right.
Okay.
We will. I'll figure it out here. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us here.